World of Tanks, how to get better. So I'm going to give you some basic tips for how to improve while playing World of Tanks. One piece of advice I'm going to give you is going to be to play in the lower tiers. So if you think of yourself as a tier 8 player, drop down to a lower tier, probably with premium tanks, and play in the lower tiers because you should do better in a lower tier. And when you master the lower tier, you can move on to a higher tier, and you should have gained new skills and, of course, new crew skills and be able to buy new equipment, etc. So, the other thing that I recommend is to play every tank in the game. There's some people who only play the overpowered vehicles. They only play high penetration vehicles or high armored vehicles, etc. And they think that they're better players because they have better stats, but really they're not playing the difficult vehicles. I played almost every vehicle in the game, including the bad vehicles with the bad guns. So I learned how to handle every vehicle, and there's vehicles that I am good at that other people just never mastered. Another thing you could do is try every game mode, because in some of the game modes there's no risk. For example, with the Steel Hunter, you don't have to worry about am I doing well or am I not. You just go and you just play the game, and you just have fun with it, and you're going to learn and have fun at the same time. So another tip is that when you are playing, you want to keep your eye on the mini map. Playing SPG is really good because you have the time to watch everything that's going on in the game. As an SPG player, you will have full awareness of which team is ahead, which is behind, where you need more players, where you don't, and it will give you insight that will help you when you're playing other vehicles, because you'll be used to looking at the mini map and noticing when something happens. It's called map awareness. With SPG, you're going to have better map awareness than any other class of vehicle because of the amount of time you have to look. And also with light tanks, if you do passive spotting, you'll also develop good map awareness because you're not engaging in combat. So another thing you want to do is you want to break the game down into parts. You want to conquer each part one at a time. So as an example, one of them is simply driving the vehicle. Another one is going to be firing the gun. Another one is going to be spotting. Break it down into different parts. If you don't know how to drive the vehicle, then you're going to have problems in some forms of combat. So what you can do to compensate is play a vehicle like a slow tank destroyer, where you don't have to worry about driving so much. And then once you improve your driving, you can work on another aspect of the game. There's different mechanics, and some of them are very challenging. So you probably want to focus on one tech tree. I would recommend the American tech tree or the Russian tech tree. The American tech tree all around is a good tech tree. So you get a little bit of everything. You can get almost every line is going to be good to play. Another one is if you play with other people, they're going to teach you, when you platoon with other people, they're going to teach you things that you just didn't know. Another thing you should do is join a clan, because then you'll have a group of people to chat with and to play with who will encourage you and give you little bits and pieces of advice. Another thing that I do when I play is that after my vehicle is destroyed, I don't leave the battle immediately. I take a look around and think, if I had moved my vehicle maybe a little bit more here or a little bit more over here, or if I had angled it differently, would I have had a better game? So look at your positioning on the map, your angling, how many hit points you had, where you look at the mini map. This is when you've been destroyed, and think, what could I have done differently? And that helps me out a lot because I often think, well, I could have backed up over here. This vehicle has a bad angle, and they're surrounded. It's 10-3, and they're surrounded. There's a lot of different things you want to take into consideration that may have made your game more difficult. Another thing that I do is I never fire gold rounds, although things are a little different now because I'm padding stats because I'm trying to get mastery badges. So for me, it was a more challenging game. I learned how to get on people's sides, on the flanks to get behind them. Other people, they just fire the gold round. They're not going to be better players by firing gold rounds. I could do the same thing. If you watch, I have a series, it says low pen, no gold in my account. And it shows you where I played the worst tanks in the game and I did more damage than everybody on my team. And it was from good strategy. If you watch my videos, a lot of them focus on strategy and tips about playing the game, not about padding stats. I don't say fire gold rounds. I say get behind the guy and hit him in the rear. And I show how to do it. There's positioning. There is knowing the strength of your vehicle. There's a lot of factors you want to take into account. Watch all of my tip videos in my account. There's tons of them. My account is probably 80 to 90% me giving advice on how to play and tips, positioning, etc., and less so on fun. Okay, the other thing you can do is you're welcome to ask me questions or go to my forum, which is cheapbooks.cc, and look at the World of Tanks section. It's filled with tips on how to play the game, and you can ask questions and I will answer them. That will help you improve in the game. People will tell you, buy this vehicle. Well, there's no such thing as buying a vehicle that helps you improve in the game because buying a vehicle usually just gives you better stats. Work on mastery badges and campaign missions, and you will probably improve in the game because now you have a mission you need to complete. Your mission will be, well, get a certain number of kills, get a certain amount of damage, and because you're trying to accomplish that, your skills will improve in the game. Okay, that's it for now. I am the owner of cheapbooks.com. It's a website for buying and selling books and textbooks. And if you have any questions or comments, please post below.